Under-20 men's national team recorded a crucial victory to stay alive at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. The US defeated Nigeria 2-0 on Monday afternoon in Bielsko-Biała, Poland at the Stadion Miejski. The game was marked both by the goals as well as the ones that didn't happen, as the video assistant referee VAR called back a goal for the US and a penalty kick for Nigeria. Report: Newcastle in takeover talks, Soto inserted into the starting lineup by US U-20's manager Tab Ramos in place of Brandon Savania paid dividends as he scored either side of halftime, including less than a minute into the second half. Ramos, feeling that his squad played well against Ukraine in the opening match but was not clinical enough, decided to replace a midfielder in Savania with Soto, the same change Ramos made in the second half of the 2-1 defeat to Ukraine. The move to a 4-3-3 paid dividends, with the trio of Soto, Tim Weah on the left and Conrad de la Fuente on the right providing high pressure, and Paxton Pomykal and Alex Mendez providing support behind them. The US displayed quick passing in tight spaces as well as strong passing from Chris Durkin to spray the ball around the field from his position as a holding midfielder. The US opened the scoring in the 18th minute. A corner kick delivered to the far post was headed home by Soto, after taking a bump on the way towards goal. Soto then seemed to add a second in the 31st minute, but Tim Weah was offside on the initial cross into the box. Nigeria threatened the US goal a few times before halftime, including a strike that cannoned off the crossbar and out of play. After the halftime break, the US made an immediate impact. Chris Gloucester dribbled up through the left channel. Nigeria barely put any pressure on him, and less than 45 seconds into the second half, Gloucester played Soto into the box. The Hanover connection was on display as Soto took a few steps before dinking the ball over Oluwale Oramade after an injury to Chris Richards, which brought on US captain Mark McKenzie. The latter seemed to have given Nigeria some life. In the 65th minute, McKenzie bundled over Nigeria striker Michael, leading to a penalty kick call. However, after a lengthy VAR check, the penalty was wiped out due to an offside player. With a win, the US are in a strong position to advance out of the group, although both the US and Qatar need a result from their final match. It was a good day for soccer fans in Ukraine, New Zealand and Uruguay as the trio of nations all won their respective games on Monday at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. All three nations confirmed qualification to the next round of the tournament. Ukraine moved into pole position in Group D with 6 points, and Uruguay and New Zealand both moved on to 6 points to lead Group C. Red Soto brace gives U-20 USMNT win over Nigeria. Ukraine defender Denis Popov scored for the second straight match as Ukraine came out 1-0 victors over Qatar. The European side dominated the match against the Gulf nation, finishing with 14 shots and 4 on goal. Qatar finished on top in terms of possession, but after Popov's goal early in the second half, Ukraine sat back and absorbed pressure. With a win, Ukraine needs just a point or better against Nigeria to win the group. Harry Kane is fit to play for Tottenham, and thus Gareth Southgate expects him ready to feature for England. Kane, Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho headlined a 23-man England national team squad for the UEFA Nations League finals. England will face the Netherlands on June 6, with a second game in either the final or third-place game against Switzerland or Portugal. All the matches will take place in Portugal. We have got exciting players, and picking a squad is really difficult because we have lots of depth of talent, not only the squad we have picked but the U-21s as well. Southgate said in a statement on the FA's website, "There's been some difficult decisions to make and we are obviously a little bit complicated with so many players involved in the Champions League.
as well, but we are really excited by the squad and the players that are around it. Here it is.
Southampton midfielders James Ward-Prowse and Nathan Redmond were also cut from the squad, but Southgate will keep them training with the group until the players involved in the Europa League and Champions League finals arrive. With this squad, Southgate has on paper a pretty decent team to contest the title. Goalkeepers: Jordan Pickford, Jack Butland. Tom Heaton. Defenders: Danny Rose, Eric Dier, John Stones, Harry Maguire, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Ben Chilwell, Michael Keane. Midfielders: Jesse Lingard, Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice, Fabian Delph, Ross Barkley, Dele Alli. Forwards: Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Callum Wilson. Soccer is a cutthroat world for both players and coaches, but it appears that finally, Unai Emery has found a landing spot where he doesn't feel he's constantly on the hot seat. In his first season, Emery has led Arsenal to the UEFA Europa League final, an impressive feat considering the side has battled injuries and tough defeats in the Premier League, especially down the closing stretch of the season. In a wide-ranging interview with El Mundo, Emery said that for the first time in his career, he feels pressure to win, not just to stay in a job, but to grow Arsenal back into the title-winning side of old. Red: Aston Villa is heading back to the Premier League. At Arsenal, I have the feeling, for the first time, of winning to build, not to survive. Emery said. I feel the respect towards me even when we lose, but I want the defeats to hurt more, because it is a step to improve competitively. I want the morning for losing to be greater than 2 hours. Earlier in the interview, Emery also mentioned his appreciation for everyone at Arsenal and in England in general, being more welcoming than his time at Paris Saint-Germain. Emery said that he was instantly respected by all the staff, and thanked for working on his English all year. When I arrived in Paris, I tried to speak French and the answer, sarcastically, was that I did not speak it well. Emery demurred. In London I use very basic English and everyone smiles at me and they thank me for trying. In the interview, which touched on many topics including Brexit, the dominance of the Premier League in Europe and Pep Guardiola, Emery spoke of how Arsenal would contain Chelsea, especially Eden Hazard. Emery called the Belgian international star one of the top 5 players in the world, coming off a season with 16 goals and 15 assists in the Premier League. Arsenal faces Chelsea on Saturday in Baku, Azerbaijan, in a game overshadowed by the political conflict that has cost Henrik Mkhitaryan the chance to play there safely. Hazard is a player of instance, but decisive instance. Emery said, it is what we have to avoid. Chelsea is capable of winning thanks to him, and that ability I have only seen in Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar or Mohamed Salah. For me, it is in the quintet of the best in the world. Manchester City, for example, has won its second Premier League, but it has done more from the collective. It is a team more like a chorus, like Tottenham, despite the contribution of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. He was out, then he was in. Now, it's official. Irving Lozano is out of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The Mexican Football Federation (FMF) made the announcement on Monday afternoon, stating that after consultations with their medical staff and the medical staff at PSV Eindhoven, Lozano needed more time to recover from damaging MCL ligaments in his right knee. It's a huge blow to New Mexico manager Gerardo Tata Martino, who likely was counting on a big summer from the World Cup goal scorer. Red: Grealish thrilled to lead Aston Villa back to place. In a statement, the FMF said that Lozano was evaluated in Mexico City on Monday, and it was determined he wouldn't make it back in time to contest the tournament. Mexico's first match is on June 15 against Cuba at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. After initially suffering damage to the MCL of his right knee in late April, it appeared Irving Lozano would miss out due to the injury. However, the second prognosis looked more promising, with Lozano then feeling he'd be able to recover in time. And yet, it didn't come to pass. Page facing up, nota at Hervand Lozano 70 causa barra la convocatoria rumbo alla Trofeo Oro.
Enter it. https://t.co/WOUOT44CNA.
Despite being able to select up to 40 players for each nation's preliminary roster, Martino just picked 29 players, leaving out veterans including Javier Chicharito Hernandez, Giovanni Dos Santos, Hector Herrera and Jesus Tecatito Corona. Martino had a falling out with Corona after reportedly finding out Corona ignored his international call-up last March due to injury from a press release, and not word from the player himself. Without those players on the preliminary list, Martino has little to choose from, though his choices to whittle down the squad have become easier. It's now down to 27, with Miguel Layún suffering an injury last week. With Lozano out, now players like Eric Gutierrez and Uriel Antuna of LA Galaxy have a chance to impress on a continental stage. Let's block ads. Why?